Hi, I'm Steve Fox with Border City Financial, and today we are doing another one in the Perspectives series. This one is called The Emotional Curve. Wow, what a time we live in. Life has been very disrupted, and we have all had to adapt and change in a way that probably none of us had imagined any time in our lifetime. It has been a very interesting transition into the way that we live our lives currently. And I think that many of us are hoping that somehow it's going to go back to the way it was. And it may go part way, but I'm not sure that it's ever going to go back to exactly the way it was. So, how do we deal with this? How do we adjust to the constant change and the pace of change in which we have had to deal with over the last little while? These are some of the things that we want to address tonight. Many of these things affect us emotionally. We have been through being separated from our family. We have been maybe working from home. We could be very social isolated. We've experienced all kinds of wild and potentially emotional events. And how do we deal with these things? How do we address them? How do we keep our sanity in the middle of all of these things? These are all great questions, and I'm not sure that I have a lot of answers, but I certainly want to help to uncover some of the questions. Our reality has changed. We've been asked to social distance ourselves and essentially shut down our economy, and now we're struggling to open it back up. And this is to protect ourselves from a global pandemic and to protect our loved ones. On top of that, equity markets have gone into bear market territory, as we talked about in a previous perspectives, and then has bounced back strongly. What in the world is next? Who knows? As much as we'd like to say that we know, we truly don't know. Our reality has changed. What we did 3 or 4 months ago as a matter of routine has completely changed, very dramatically. Our lives are different. Change causes uncertainty. It makes us uncomfortable. We're here to provide you with some stability, we hope. We want to make sure that you're informed and up to date, and especially as it relates to your financial plan, that we should review your financial plan, or your advisor should review your financial plan and ensure that you have all of the current information. And lastly, we want you to be aware of how all this change is affecting you and leaving you with some strategies on coping. We've been asked to social distance ourselves, shut down our economy. We do know that people are at different spots in this emotional curve as they continue to adjust to the new reality. We've been through wave number one. Are we still in wave number one of the global pandemic? Is there going to be a wave two or a wave three or a wave four? I don't think anybody knows. And this can certainly wear on all of us, the uncertainty that comes along with that. Even as our economies are reopening, this may lead to new emotional stresses about safely returning to work or concerns about new illnesses. So even while we are several weeks into this now, it's possible that you could still be in denial, or you may be feeling anxiety, especially if you have family members impacted by the virus. And unfortunately, horribly, if you've lost a family member or friend, whether in terms of their health or their financial well-being. At any time during this journey, you may check out and then check back in. There could be bouts of apathy, sometimes even daily. Moving along the curve, you may have already progressed to an understanding and acceptance, and you're willing now to explore new opportunities if you're adventurous. Lastly, you may have moved all the way through this emotional curve, you fully adapted, and you're motivated to carry forward in a positive and enthusiastic manner. No matter where you or may be, there are strategies that help you in this journey. When someone is in denial or shock, nothing registers or changes, and you may be just living on autopilot. You may have been temporarily laid off, or your small business may have been shut down. You may be behind on rent or other payments. We've encountered all kinds of circumstances with small business owners or employees of firms that have not yet been able to go back to work, especially here in Essex County, where some of the other places have opened up and are able to go back to work and start to earn a living, where Toronto and in the Windsor area, we're still in phase one and living with the consequences of that. So let's take a look at some positive steps that we can take. First, let's take a look at the financial plan and remember why you're invested in the portfolio you hold. The diversification in your portfolio worked out, as did having downside protection. Let's review your monthly cash flows. Understand your current situation. How has this impacted your financial situation? Often we've talked to people who said that they're at home and they're not going out to restaurants, they're not going on vacation. A lot of people that we talk to are actually spending less money through this period of time, but there are lots of people who are earning less money during this period of time as well. You may want to reduce discretionary spending if you haven't. Minimize withdrawals where possible. Have you filed your tax return? I know the deadlines have been extended, but do you know where that stands? Even though they extended the deadline, if you're getting a refund, let's get that filed. We've likely all gone through this phase, anxiety. It's quite possible that at some point in time you've experienced something that you would describe as anxiety because there's just so much that we don't know. That's so much that's out of our control. So we're trying to adjust to the change in our lives, but we really don't have a lot of control over it. This can be stressful. It can be confusing, and it can certainly be frustrating. Let's remember why we're doing all of this. When you filled out a dream journal in the beginning, you outlined your goals and aspirations. We talk about values-based planning. What is important to each one of us? What are the values that we adhere to and why we have a financial plan in the first place? Because those are the goals we're hoping to achieve. Then a plan was developed that will help you get there. And the things that you're doing now, living within your means, are as important to continue to help relieve some of the stress. As I have often quoted my friend in the US, because I won't take credit for this, the 3 principles of basic financial planning are: 1, never spend more than you make; 2, save all you can; and 3, and I'm quoting him, don't do anything stupid. As long as we follow these 3 basic principles, we're doing the best that we can. Let's review and make sure you're still on track with your plan. Ultimately, that's going to give you peace of mind. If we can do that, it will go a long way to provide some clarity and peace of mind that you're actually still on track, regardless of what the news and everything else around us tells us. So as we're moving along this curve, you may have already progressed to an understanding and acceptance and are willing to explore new opportunities. If you're at this stage, then there are some new strategies we can review, including things like estate planning, consolidating assets, and more, like mortgage renewals and all of these other items that you may have put on the shelf in the short term. Short-term goals can give you a new focus and also give you hope for the future. And let's ensure that your long-term goals haven't changed, or if they have, how are we going to meet them? We need to know what they are so that we can adjust the plan and make sure that we're still on track to getting where we want to go. Lastly, you may have moved all the way through this emotional curve and you've fully adapted and you are motivated to carry forward in a positive and enthusiastic manner. Great for you if you have. There are some milestones that we can celebrate with this. With your new focus on the future, we need to revisit and update your plan, as there may be some tactical enhancements that we can act on. In this brave new world, there's an opportunity to be confident about the changes and where you're going from here. One of the most important considerations in all of this, and I love to ask this at a time when there's lots of volatility or a market downturn, is, has your tolerance for risk when it comes to investing changed? I have often said throughout my career, it's completely useless to ask anybody what their tolerance for risk is when markets are going up. Because when everybody's making money, they're all happy and they have an astronomically high risk tolerance. It's when we get into the choppy markets and the sideways markets, and yes, even the bear markets and down markets, that I love to ask those questions, because that's when I find that people are best connected to their true tolerance for risk. So this is a great time to review that, to make sure that we are still giving you the correct advice when it comes to the asset allocation of your investment portfolio, which determines the risk, and that it's still well within your tolerance for risk. So regardless of where you are on the emotional curve, we recommend that you and your family review the various government programs that are available. If you're eligible, we recommend you apply. Apparently, there's lots of money to be handed out, so we do recommend that you grab what you can. Keep in mind that these payments will be taxable, so we further recommend that you set aside some of the money, very importantly, where possible, to account for future taxes payable. Remember, you are making progress. Your plan is unique to you. Let's connect one-on-one if need be and discuss your next steps. We do conduct regular reviews with our clients, and we will be calling you for that review. If by chance something has changed in the assessment of all of this that requires that you meet with us in between those times, then we're happy to connect you to answer those questions, especially the risk tolerance questions. So to wrap this up, it's a fascinating time. We're all living with things that we probably didn't anticipate would ever happen in our lifetime. We have been forced to modify our lifestyle. We have been forced to separate from the people that are closest to us. We have probably been on some sort of an emotional roller coaster ride through all of this. And on top of all of that, it's a potential, or an enormous potential, to feel insecure about how this is all going to work out for me. I read almost daily reports from across North America, both the US and Canada, where a significant percentage of the population is now feeling very insecure about their ability to achieve all their goals in their financial future as compared with 6 months ago. So if this is you, the potential exists for tremendous anxiety. If that relates to things like not sleeping properly, not eating properly, affecting your relationships, your work life, these are all things that we should work to try to avoid. And there are steps that we can take, and part of that is just adding peace of mind. So if you do have those concerns about your financial future, about your ability to achieve the goals that you've laid out for yourself, or if those goals have changed, this is a great time to review those things to make sure that you are still on track to getting where you want to go. If we can take that one off our plate, that should add a lot of peace of mind about who we are, where we're going, the security of our financial future, because the rest of it, this is a lot of unknowns, and there are things that we really don't have any control over, and we're going to live with the outcome of that, whatever that may be. So hopefully, I've uncovered some questions. I don't know what potential solutions. You be the judge of that. But I certainly wanted to make you aware of sort of what the potential thought processes are as we all go through this extremely challenging and interesting time. And I wish you well. I wish you the best. And if there are things that we can help with, we are available. So I hope this has been enjoyable and helpful. Have a great day.